being the president of the Magic Circle means that you get to meet all the greatest magicians, both in the society and around the world. And I don't think that there is probably a magician who is quite as recognizable as one of our very great members. He has been around for quite a while now, and we'll have a chat about that in a moment. A slightly controversial figure, even many years ago, whenever he appeared on TV, not a stitch of clothing, slightly radical in those days, I have to say. It is with a huge amount of pleasure that I introduce a member of the Inner Magic Circle with Gold Star, one of our most esteemed members, the very wonderful Sooty.
Hey,
of course, assisted by Richard Cadell. Lovely.
And here's me
Lovely to
giving me
see.
the big build-up.
Well, you've never appeared naked on TV, I don't think. So
There's always the first. But you're right, Sooty has. He's done it in fine style for 72 years now, so he's got away with it.
Almost 3/4 of the length of the illusion that we are celebrating here today, and unbelievably, of course, most people think of soaring a woman as a big stage illusion, but one of the great things with Sooty over the years is that he's done quite a bit of magic, hasn't he? And he doesn't let size stand in the way of what he does. Can you tell us about his version of soaring through a woman?
Well, it's right here. It's right here. Yes, it's a Barbie. It's a Barbie we're soaring through. In fact, what's lovely about this is it's one of the very first things that Harry Corbett, Sooty's creator, ever performed with Sooty. So, because you have to remember, Harry was a magician and Sooty did magic tricks in Harry's show. So the soaring the little dolly in half, in those days it wasn't a Barbie, it was called Penny. And when Sooty had cut her in half, Harry used to say, now she's half Penny, or halfpenny, or whatever the joke was. But now, of course, these days it's a little bit modernised. But what you're about to see Sooty perform is virtually the same as he performed with Harry Corbett, 70 years ago. So like the soaring half illusion, it stood the test of time.
Absolutely. And how long have you been doing the illusion with Sooty?
Well, I've been not so long. I have got Harry Corbett's original prop. And I kind of played with it and stuff, and I toyed with it, but actually for a stage it's quite small, so this would be ideal for TV. I have never performed it, so what you're getting is a bit of a first really in terms of seeing it on a screen. So it's not something I do regularly, but I love it dearly just because it has so much history, not only as an illusion that I love, but also with Harry's association with Sooty and everything Sooty was in its truest form.
Well, we are honoured that you are doing it for us and premiering it here or for the first time probably on the internet. So without any further ado, please put your hands together wherever you are in the world and welcome with his version of soaring a Barbie in half, the incomparable Sooty, assisted by Richard Cadell. Richard, that was truly, truly wonderful and brings back so many happy childhood memories, I'm sure, for people seeing Sooty. And I would love to have a word with you on your own, Richard. Would Sooty be offended if we just had a quick word between the two of us?
Not at all. Not at all. So you've got to go now, Sooty. So we'll say goodbye to him like we do on the TV show. And it has been the same last line of the TV show for the last nearly 70 years. So you can do it with us, Noel. All the English people know what this line is. So we all wave to the camera. You do it as well, Sooty. We say, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Off you go. That's it. He's gone. Look, I can prove it. He's gone. Look. Not coming back now.
There we go. Lovely. Do you feel more complete now or less complete?
Slightly more complete. No, it's
slightly more. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's like I'm me again now. I don't have to think for two people. You know how it is.
It is lovely that it is just you. Not that I have anything against Sooty, but because you did used to work on your own. I mean, before Sooty fell into your very safe hands, I have to say, and thank you for looking after a national icon for so long and treating him so well and introducing him to a new generation of viewers. But before that, you were a full-time magician and did illusions. Did a big illusion act. So that little one is you've downsized basically with Sooty. But going back to those stage size illusions, did you do a full size soaring through a woman in your full stage show?
Yes. I did actually. In fact, it was, I'd always liked the soaring in half illusion, and I remember seeing Doug Henning, who I was really, really fond of as a kid. I really wanted to be like Doug Henning, and he did a double soaring in half, which to me was brilliant. And I thought I'd love to do that. And a few people had been doing it, so it wasn't entirely original. And I was cast in the Chuckle Brothers summer show at the Blackpool Grand Theatre. And the Chuckle Brothers, very famous comedy double act. And the producer said to me, can you do an illusion with Paul and Barry? And I went, yeah, I know what we'll do. We'll do the double soaring. So I was thrilled to be able to do it. And I went and bought some off-the-shelf classic soaring in half boxes. And we worked out this routine where I would cut my beautiful assistant in half. Paul Chuckle would try and emulate what I did to it all sort of went wrong. But he would eventually cut Barry in half, which got a great reaction from the audience because they couldn't fathom out how it was working, of course. And then we mixed them up by accident. So Barry got out of the box and he had these lovely ladies' legs. And of course, my girl assistant has got these knobbly knees, or the effect was she had. Got a great big laugh. But the wonderful thing with it, not only did it turn a classic magical illusion into a really good comedy routine, it gave the illusion a surprise at the end, which it hadn't had before. So for me, it hooked me on the double soaring. So I've done it, you rightly said, I've done illusions all through my working life, even now, even though I'm known for Sooty. But I've only ever done the soaring in half as a double soaring. You know, that's, for me, is where it's at, because you get the comedy and the surprise.
It is amazing, because it's, you know, as we've seen, there are all different ways of presenting this illusion, but this is a comedic version, but it's still incredibly baffling. It's a great vehicle for comedy, especially when you're working with another performer or brothers even, to be able to sort of play off each other and have one doing it seriously and the other one doing it comedically. So it is great. And have you ever done it straight, so to speak? Have you ever done a formal classical presentation?
I don't think I've got a lot of illusions, and a lot of illusions involve some sort of cutting or dissection or something. But the classic sort of lying flat on a table and having a saw through or a buzz saw, I only ever performed the soaring as such as a double soaring. I love it as a classic. I built an illusion once for the Circus of Horrors, which was the buzz saw, which is a different cutting in half, and we had blood and all sorts of things for that. So it was lovely to do a different version of the soaring in half, but I never would perform that myself, you know.
Oh, it's a great comedy piece, and still very baffling. And if you don't mind me saying so, you looked a little bit younger in that footage. It
was 24 years ago. 24 years.
Well, you didn't look that much younger, so you're holding up well. But since then, as you said, you've carried on doing illusions even when you're doing it. Can you take an illusion like that and develop it, or once it's set, do you go, oh, that's good enough?
Well, for me, I mean, the wonderful thing, which is why, of course, this evening is so fascinating, is there's been so many versions of this illusion. And people, as you rightly say, know me for Sooty, but I always, most years, appear in pantomime. And they are often big, spectacular shows. And it's a vehicle for me to do the illusions within the show. And because I love magic and I love illusions, I'm always looking to try and come up with novel ways and different ways of doing it. So a few years ago, I was asked again to do a routine with one of the comedians in the show. And I thought, this is an opportunity to rethink the double soaring. And I'd seen a version of a single soaring in half, which was developed by a Las Vegas company that are now long out of business. But the wonderful thing with it, there were no boxes at all. You just laid the girl on the table, cut through and pulled them apart. It wasn't gruesome, there was no blood involved, nothing like that. It was just mind-blowing. And I tried to do some research to find out who bought one, did they exist? Because I'd seen it in a catalogue and I'd seen sort of a video, and I managed to find out that there was only a few of them built, and they still existed, but they were all locked up in, you know, some 20 years ago. They hadn't, this company had long since finished trading. And, you know, ethically, when a magician or somebody invents something, you don't rip it off and copy it. You try and find the inventor and get it the right way. So I sought out, with the help of Tim Clothier, who is out in Las Vegas, building illusions, we managed to find 2 original props that had this version where there's no boxes. The girl lies on the table, boy lies on the table. And I went out to Tim's place in Vegas. I got the props to him, and we tried to make these illusions that had been built at different times for different people. We tried to make them work as a double soaring. It had never been done before, this version as a double soaring, without the boxes over the bodies. We had to, obviously, to stop the audience from realizing the joke, we had to cover them briefly at one point. That was more for the joke. But the pulling apart and separating happens without any cover. And we premiered.
I was sorry, and I was just going to say, while you're talking about, we do have some footage from one of the rehearsals, and I mean, I just think it's such a wonderful image.
This is me and Tim Clothier. This is not set up. I never intended anyone to ever see this. This is me and Tim Clothier, who's built some of the most wonderful illusions for all the big star magicians, in his workshop in Las Vegas, trying to work out how he would juggle the heads and the feet. And I took this, I know the video you've got, but it's a genuine rehearsal. And even then, I hope you can see how ridiculously incredible it looks. Just these torsos and legs on these tables. That's why I just wanted to try and crack it with that version, because I knew it would be so magical, to really knock them dead with the magic and then give it a great laugh at the end.
So you said that was in Panto. We were talking to Debbie McGee earlier about, you've worked in Panto with her on occasions, and she was saying that she helped you with an illusion on one occasion. Was that it?
Yes, that was the double soaring. It was new to that show. It was the first time I'd ever performed it, and I knew that Debbie would probably know all the answers, because there's nothing she hasn't done in props, particularly being sawn in half in every which way you can think of. But she quietly came over and said, "Do you mind if I just offer some advice?" It was like, yeah, you know, it doesn't get any better than this. And she basically talked my assistants through how to do what they needed to do. So yes, she was very much part of that. I was very honoured that she gave me such an invaluable contribution. You know, there's nothing she doesn't really know. And it was wonderful to have her there at the side of the stage watching this first run through with the new version of the double soaring.
Well, I mean, amazing that you put that time and energy into the illusion and collaborated with other people to get the very best that you could out of it, and just to show what reaction it did get. We've got some very rough footage, filmed from the back of the theatre, just to get an idea of how it looked. But it is worth listening to the reaction, just on terms of the surprise value at the end of the illusion.
Yeah.
Stop, turn, it's time.
Just great, Richard. Wonderful that a huge illusion can get such wonderful reaction from a family audience. So thank you for all that you do for Magic and looking after Sooty so well. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Do you know how to finish a spot?
You see, it doesn't matter about the big illusions. It's the bear that they love. Right, I'll do it without the bear. Bear, here we go. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.